Good day! Welcome again to ITEP 203, Quantitative Methods with Modeling and Simulation. For this video, I am going to discuss part 2 of your Lesson 2 Descriptive Statistics. Just to give you an overview for this session, on day 1, you will have a synchronous pre-recorded discussion of Module 2, Part 2. And then on day 2 and 3, asynchronous ulit, gagawin nyo yung Task Performance 2.2 sa Google Classroom. So, discuss ko ulit yung objectives. By the end of this lesson, you will understand the basic computation of central tendencies, skews, and dispersion, some tips in solving the basic descriptive stat, apply and compute basic descriptive statistics in doing quantitative method. For this part 2, the content are the following: measures of dispersion, measures of skew, measures of kurtosis, and then summary. So, let's proceed to the first part of this lesson, measures of dispersion. Para saan ba to? Ang measures of dispersion, it indicates how spread out the data are around the mean. So, ang measures of dispersion, meron tayo diyang tatlo: variance, standard deviation, and range. Itong tatlong to, pinapaliwanag sa atin kung gaano ka spread out yung ating data by stating intervals. Yung variance and standard deviation, kinukuha nito yung difference between observed score and mean. Ang range naman, yung difference between high and low points. So, ginagamit ito kapag gusto mong ipakita kung gaano ka-spread out yung data. Helpful din ito kapag yung data mo ay sobrang spread out na nakaka-apekto ito ng mean. So, there are times that in interpreting your data, the measures of central tendencies such as mean, median, and mode is not enough. Kailangan mong ipakita gaano ka-spread out yung data. At para mapakita mo to, itong tatlong measures or descriptive statistics ang pwede mong gamitin. Proceed tayo muna sa variance. Ang variance, ito ay sum of the squares of the differences between each observation and the mean, which quantity is then divided by the sample size. Kaya mapapansin ninyo, yan ay reflected dito sa ating formula. By the way, meron tayong population variance, as you can see here. And another one is the sample variance. Sa population variance, ito yung formula niya. Sample variance, ito naman yung formula. So here is the symbol for the population variance. So you have to get all the square differences of each data observation and the mean. Tapos i-divide mo siya sa total number of items of that population. Usually, malalaman mo na population siya or sample siya as indicated. Kapag naka-indicate na yun ay population, then population variance yung gagamitin mo na formula. Kapag naman naka-indicate na sample, sample variance yung gagamitin mo na formula. Ano ba yung pagkakaiba? Pareho mo naman kukunin muna yung mean, yung population mean for this, in this case, dito naman ay yung sample mean. Pero ang pagkakaiba niya is after mamakuha yung summation noong x sub I minus population mean and then square mo siya, i-divide mo siya ngayon sa total number of items ng population. Sa sample variance, iba siya kasi kailangan mong i-minus yung 1 doon sa n at yun yung maging divisor mo dito sa ating formula. So, may rason kung bakit yan may minus 1. Kasi, sa variance, sa population variance, you know all your data. But, in your sample, meron ka dyang, kumbaga, benefit of the doubt. Kasi hindi mo naman alam lahat ng data mo. Sample lang yung kinukuha mo. So, kailangan mag-match siya dun sa talagang data kapag ang kinuha mo talaga is population dun sa sample na yon. Okay. Ang isa naman, ang next naman na i-discuss ko sa inyo ay ang standard deviation. Later, I will discuss with you a sample Excel data or raw data para makuha yung variance, standard deviation, at yung range, at yung coefficient of variation. So, ang standard deviation, ito ay square root lamang ng variance. So, pag nakuha mo na yung variance, square root mo siya, makukuha mo na ang standard deviation. Again, for population standard deviation, you will get it from population variance. Square mo siya, kaya ganito yung symbol niya. Wala na siya nung raised to 2 kasi kinuha mo yung square root. So that's the symbol for standard deviation, lagi niyo yung tatandaan. This is the symbol naman for sample standard deviation. Okay? So the first thing that you have to get if you want to get the variance and standard deviation is first the mean, tapos lahat ng items ima-minus mo, ma-minusan mo siya ng mean, tapos square mo siya, and then ipag-add mo lahat ng nakuha mo na data, and then i-divide mo na siya sa n or n minus 1. Sa Excel, ang standard deviation ay ganito yung kanyang formula. Wala siyang direct formula as far as I know for variance. But for standard deviation, sa Excel, ang ginagamit mo na formula is equal, tapos S, T, dev, dot P kung ito ay population, tapos dot S naman kung ito ay sample. Tapos ano yung range? Yung range, ito yung lahat ng data mo. So, kung ang data mo ay nasa C2 na cell hanggang C100 na cell, yun yung range mo. C2 colon C100. So, yung range nung data na kukuhanan mo ng standard deviation. So, yun yung sample standard deviation in Excel. Yung next naman, coefficient of variation. It measures relative dispersion by dividing the standard deviation by the mean and then multiplying by 100 to render 8%. So, sa coefficient of variation, kinukuha mo naman ito sa standard deviation divided by the mean. Kung ito ay population coefficient of variation, kukunin mo to from population standard deviation divided by population mean. Kung ito naman ay sample coefficient of variation, kukunin mo ito sa sample standard deviation divided by sample mean or bar x. So, from this formula, ayan, i-multiply mo pala to, by the way, sa 100 para makuha mo yung percentage. So, therefore, the formula in Excel is that you will first get the standard deviation. If that is for population coefficient of variation, kukunin mo yung population standard deviation divided by the population mean, multiply it by 100. Tapos, sa sample coefficient of variation naman, sample standard deviation yung kukunin mo naman, divided by sample mean, multiply it by 100. Ito naman, ang range, ito yung distance between the lowest and the highest values in dataset and generally describes how spread out data are. So, for the range, it is largest minus the smallest value. So, sa Excel, kukunin mo yung maximum ng isang range of cells dun sa data mo, ima-minus mo at kukunin mo naman yung minimum. Kasi meron tayong formula sa Excel na max. Ang nire-return nito yung pinakamalaki dun sa range of cells na kinukuha mo. Ang min naman, ang nire-return nito na value ay yung minimum dun sa data na gusto mong kuhanan, which is dito sa range of cells. So, by the way, an approximation of the standard deviation is the range divided by 4. Okay, so let me give you here an example, sample data to. Itong data na to ay raw data ninyo, raw data ng task performance responses ninyo. So, I have here the timestamp, kung kailan nyo ginawa, email address, yung score, tapos yung pangalan, tapos year-end section. So, I have here from C2 up to C208, I have here the data for your score. Yun yung gusto kong kuhanan ng descriptive statistics na mean, median, mode, range, standard deviation, skew, and kurtosis. So, mamaya ko kukunin yung skew and kurtosis. For now, i-model ko lang sa inyo kung paano kuhanan yung mean, median, mode, range, and standard deviation. So, I have here, for the mean, so since ang range ng data natin is C2 up to C208, yun yung cell. So, yan yung pagkukuhanan ko ng mean. So, to get the mean for this population, by the way, ito yung population, no? Kasi lahat naman ng data yan. Hindi yan sample. So, all I have to do is to type in the formula average, tapos yung range ng cell ko, which is C202 to C208. So, that is the mean. So if I want to, gusto ko siyang i-round off into 2 decimal places, all I have to do is to use the round formula in Excel and then yung 2 decimal places. So ayan yung aking i-round, itong value sa loob. Tapos ilang decimal places, tapos ito yung aking formula for rounding off. Okay, so the mean is 18.79. For the median, ang kukunin mo lang na formula, or ang gagamitin mo lang na formula is median. Tapos, yung range ng cell, which is C2 up to C208. So, ang i-return nito is 19. So, ibig sabihin yan, ang median ng lahat ng scores ninyo, kapag in-arrange ko siya in ascending order, yung pinakagitna, yun yung median. Okay, kung lahat yung n mo, so by the way, kukunin ko yung n nito, yung size ng ating sample. So, the size of our sample, so for this case, it's n, yung size ng sample natin, n, ayan, is count, ika-count niya kung ilan yon, yung C2 to 208. So, we have 207. So, yung data natin ay 207. Yung value ng n natin. Ayan. So, for the mode naman, simple lang. Ang kukunin mo lang is mode C2OT hanggang 2 to C208. So, the mode is 18. By the way, going back to median, so again, yung 207, kapag yan ay in-arrange ko, 207 data or scores, dito yan, 207 scores, kapag in-arrange ko siya in ascending order, yung pinakang gitna niya, which is, ang pinakang gitna ng 207 ay 207 divided by 2, that is 103.5. So, yung pinaka 104, yun yung pinakang gitna natin, is 19. So, 19 yung ating median. Ang mode naman, ito yung pinakamadaming score na nakuha. Ang range naman, to get the range, ang formula na kailangan mo dyan is, you have to get the maximum value from C2 hanggang C208 minus the minimum value of same range C2 and C208. So, ito yung ating formula. Maximum number minus minimum number, and then if you're gonna press enter, it will return 19. So, 19 yung range ng scores. Ganon ka, daming values, or 19 lang talaga yung values ng mga data natin. Okay? Or yung variation ng data natin. So, itong mean, median, and mode, itong tatlong to, sila yung measures of central tendency. Ito namang range and standard deviation and variance, they are the measures of dispersion. So, yung dispersion, ibig sabihin, 19 values lang yung pagkakaiba-iba ng data natin. So, kung gaano siya ka-spread out. Ito naman, kung gaano nagkukumpul-kumpulan doon sa pinakang gitna yung ating data. Or doon sa gitna nung set of data natin. Ang standard deviation, para makuha mo yung standard deviation, all you have to do is to use stdev. Since this is population, P.P. Tapos yung range din, which is C2 hanggang C208. And then press enter. That's the range, 3.75882020443. So again, I want to round it into 2 decimal points. So I will use the formula to round. So ang ating standard deviation is 3.76. So yung variance saka yung standard deviation ay measures of variation siya. So we have here range and standard deviation. Now, ayun. So, that's our range and our standard deviation. By the way, may isa pang way para makuha mo yung descriptive statistics. So, meron tayo dito. If you will go to our data tab and then data analysis, pwede ka dyan maghanap. Ihanapin mo dyan yung descriptive statistics and then press OK. Hahanapin lang niya yung input range. Ibig sabihin, ano yung data na pagkukuhanan niya ng descriptive statistics, which is C2 to C208. All you have to do is to drag. And then, next is, yung output range natin would be, okay, wait, it would be a new worksheet. Okay, so that is the new worksheet. Let's try to descriptive stat sheet, descriptive statistics. So let's try to name it And then the summary statistics. So yeah, so let us try to press OK. Stop. And then the summary statistics, and then OK. So there. So now you have the mean, you have the standard error, the median is 19, the mode is 18. So tingnan natin. Let's try to compare this table here kung tama yung ating mga computation. Okay? So again, the mean is 18.79. So tama naman siya, naka-round off. Yung median natin is 19. Yan, same din. Yung mode natin is 18. Standard deviation is 3.76. So, dapat ito ay 3.77. So, yeah, I think ang kinuha nito is yung sample. So, tingnan nga natin. There. So, sample. Sample yung kanyang treatment dito sa data, which is dapat ay population. Okay? So, sometimes may mga discrepancies kasi usually pala ang kinukuha na ng descriptive statistics ng Excel ay tinitreat niya to as sample and not as population. But in this case, population ito. So, it should be 3.76. Okay? Andyan din yung variance. Andyan din si standard deviation. So, dito mo makukuha yung variance niya. Okay? Let's see kung merong variance. Meron pala variance P. So, C2 to C2 o 8. So, there is our variance. Ayan. So, sige. I'm gonna move this and then move this upwards. So, we have here the variance. So, that is our variance. Okay. Ayan. So, patan ko lang yung kulay para mas So, again, para siya ay ma-round off, gamitin mo yung round na formula and then 2 decimal points. So, 14.13 yung ating variance. So, ayan. So, we have here the range, variance, and standard deviation. Okay. Now, let's proceed naman to skew and kurtosis. This range, variance, and standard deviation, it somehow show the variation of your data. So, meron pa tayong dalawang descriptive statistics. Meron pa tayong dalawang pwedeng gamitin to explain the data further. Meron tayong skew and kurtosis. So, okay. So, for the skew and kurtosis, ayan. By the way, for the range, ayan discuss na din pala natin to, no? For the measures of skew naman, it describes how concentrated data points are at the high or low end of the scale of measurement. So, ang measures of skew, ito yung degree of distortion, kung gaano siya ka-distorted yung data natin from the symmetrical bell curve. So, yung standard palagi natin is the symmetrical bell curve. Okay, I guess ito ay na-discuss ninyo sa inyong algebra, if I'm not mistaken, yung bell curve or the normal distribution. So, kapag distorted yung ating data, meron siyang lack of symmetry in the data distribution. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya normally distributed. Ang leaning ng data natin, kapag graph mo yan, is leaning siya to the high end or leaning to the low end, to the right or to the left. So, discuss muna natin kung ano yung formula for the skew. So, for the skew, kung yan ay population skew, ito yung formula niya. So, wala siyang pinagkaiba. Although, ang kukunin mo lamang is a population mean, if that is population skew, and population standard deviation if for population skew. For the sample, edi yung sample standard deviation tsaka yung sample mean. So, for the skew, ayan, it is symbolized by S, capital S, and then small letter K. Kapag naman sample skew, small letter S, small letter K. So, the formula is 3 multiplied by population mean minus the median divided by the population standard deviation. For the sample skew, SK is equal to 3 times sample mean minus median divided by sample standard deviation. So usually, ang makukuha mo dyan na value ay negative 0.19 o kaya negative 2 o kaya naman ay positive 2 or 1 or 0.99. Meron din namang 0 yung skew. So paliwanag ko lang sa inyo. Meron tayong tinatawag na iba't ibang klase ng distortion. Merong, so ito yung basic. Positive right skewness, positively skewed. So positively skewed siya or skewed to the right, positively skewed if the value of skew is greater than 0. So, halimbawa niyan ay 0.96, 0.37. So, kapag greater siya than 0, ibig sabihin nun, yung ating data ay ganito yung itsura. Leaning siya to the, mas madaming data siya to the left at maunti yung data natin to the right. So, kapag positive or right skew, yung left yung mas madami. Kapag positive or right skewed, ibig sabihin nun yung right side natin ay skewed or patusok. Yun o, nandun yung patusok. Di ba yung barbecue skew, yun ay ang tusok ng barbecue. So, andun yung patusokin niya sa right. So, kapag positive yung number or yung skew natin or yung value ng skew natin, patusok siya sa right. Positive, right skewed. Kapag naman ang value ng ating skew ay 0 or malapit sa 0, ang tawag dito ay symmetrically skewed. Normal yung distribution. So, ganito yung itsura ng symmetrical data. So, usually yung skew dyan ay malapit sa 0 or saktong 0. Ngayon, kapag naman less than 0 yung ating skew or negative value, ibig sabihin nun, skewed siya to the left or negatively skewed. So, yan yung value niya ay negative 0.96 o kaya naman ay negative 2. So, sobrang extreme yon. So, those are the different types of skewness. In Excel, ang kailangan mo lang dyan is the keyword skew and then yung range. Pareho lang yung formula ng population and sample ng skew. Skew na keyword, tapos yung range. Yung range na yung range ng cells natin Ngayon, mag-proceed naman tayo sa measures of kurtosis. Ang measures of kurtosis, dinidescribe naman ito kung gaano ka-concentrated yung data around a single value. Usually, yung mean. Yung kurtosis, ina-assess nito kung gaano ka-peak or ka-flat yung data distribution. Okay? Kailan ba ito ginagamit? Ang kurtosis, it talks about the tails of the distribution. So, if you want to know how heavy or how light the tails are, so kung meron kang bell curve, yung tails niya, ito nasa ibabang area. So, minsan, it's heavy. Minsan naman, it's light. Halos walang data yung tail natin. Kurtosis yung ginagamit to measure this. So, ano ba yung indicator? By the way, may tatlong uri ng distribution when it comes to kurtosis. Meron tayong mesocortic, platycortic, and leptocortic. Ang mesocortic, ito yung normal bell curve. Ang platycortic naman, ito yung flatter than the normal bell curve. Ang leptocortic, ito yung more peaked than the normal. So, let's discuss first the formula. So, para makuha mo yung kurtosis, it is denoted by the capital letter K sa population kurtosis. And for sample kurtosis, we have, I think it's the same for population and for sample. Okay, so pareho lang siya. It's not the same. Okay, sorry for the error dito. Anyway, ang papatan mo lang naman dyan is population kurtosis. So, instead of population, gagamitin mo lang sample. Instead of population standard deviation, gagamitin mo lang dyan sample standard deviation. So, let's proceed. So, all you have to do, ayan. So, ang kanyang formula is yung lahat ng x minus the mean. And then, so, ayan. I-multiply mo lang siya ng 4 na beses by the population standard deviation raised to 4. Okay? And then, i-divide mo yung answer mo dito sa population standard deviation. Same thing with the sample kurtosis. So, ano ba yung interpretation niyan? Kapag picked siya, which is leptocortic, kapag leptocortic, ganito yung itsura niya. Kapag mesocortic, ganito, normal bell curve. Kapag platycortic, ganito naman. So, kapag ito ay leptocortic, yan, kapag leptocortic, yung kurtosis niya, yung value ng kurtosis niya is greater than 1. Ibig sabihin niyan is 1.2, 1.3, ganon. Pag naman yung kurtosis ay 0 or close to 0, ibig sabihin nun, makikita mo yung data mo, ganito yung itsura kapag graph. Yung histogram mo, yung bar graph mo, ganito yung itsura. Or kaya naman yung iyong dot plot. Kapag naman too flat or platycortic, yung kurtosis niya usually is less than negative 1. Ibig sabihin niyan ay negative 1.2, 1.3. So, makikita mo talaga kung gaano ka-flat or ka-heavy yung tail. So, dito, light yung tail natin. Ayan o, lighter. Ito naman, normal lang. Ito naman is sobrang heavy ng tail. So, yun yung different types of kurtosis. So, sa Excel, ang formula mo dyan is yung keyword na Kurt, K-U-R-T, and then yung range ng kukuhanan mo. Same siya for population and sample. So again, in our example dito, well, to get the skew, all you have to do is to type in our formula skew, and then yung range, C2 ulit at C208. So, ayan. I-round ko lang siya para mas maayos tingnan. Ayan. So, our skew is negative 0.04. So, ano ibig sabihin yan? Malapit siya sa 0. So, siya ba ay positively skewed, negatively skewed, or normal curve? So, pwede mo sabihin na negatively skewed siya. Okay? Pero, dahil malapit siya sa 0, normal curve yan. So, normal curve pa din siya. So, ang itsura pa din niya is something like this. So, yung skew niya is ganito pa din kapag graph mo yung data mo. Ganyan. Ngayon, yun namang kurtosis natin, ang kailangan mo lang is to type in the formula Kurt, the range, C208, and then that's the value of your kurtosis. Okay. And then, i-round off ko lang siya into 2 decimal points. So, negative 0.22 siya. So, yan ay negative 0.22. So, ano ibig sabihin nun? Flat ba siya? Thick or normal? So, dahil siya ay negative 0.22 lang, ibig sabihin niyan, so as you can see here, kapag kurtosis, kapag siya daw ay 0 or close to 0, di ba close to 0 to? Itong negative 0.22. Hindi siya greater than or less than negative 1. So, ibig sabihin, ganito yung itsura niya. Normal pa din yung kanyang kurtosis. Okay? May meaning to lalo na sa mga financial analyst, ganun, kapag yung data mo skew to the left or skew to the right or platycortic or mesocortic, may meaning yon. So, I have here measures of skew and measures of kurtosis. There. Ayan. So, para mas mapatunayan natin yan, we want to visualize our data. So, I'm gonna use histogram. Okay, histogram. Ang histogram, para siyang bar graph. Tapos, graph niya yung frequency using, ayun nga, bar graph. So, all you have to do is to insert, punta ulit tayo pala sa data. Sorry, data. Yan, data. And then, dito sa ating analysis tool, I want to press on data analysis, histogram, ayan, and then click OK. By the way, meron ako ditong range, no? Range, wait, I am going to type in the range here. Wait, control X. Just put it on top. Later, gagamitin natin to. Itong values na tinatype ko. So, that's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then 0. Okay, so going back, so data ulit, data tab, data analysis, histogram, click OK. The input range is yung scores natin, which is itong range na to. Dadrag mo lang siya pababa. There. Bin range, ito yung range ng ating histogram. So later makikita nyo kung bakit importante yung bin range. So, kaya ko ginawa itong 0 to 30 kasi gusto ko makita kung ilan tao kada score, which is 0 to 30. So, ilan yung naka-0, ilan yung naka-1, ilan yung naka-2, ilan yung naka-30, hanggang 30. So, yan. So, that's the bin range. And then, I want my chart to be put in a new worksheet. Ayan. And then, I just have to click OK. And then, as you can see here, meron na tayong data, yung histogram natin, andyan. So, kung mapapansin nyo, ito yung frequency. Yung blue, yan yung frequency, gaano kadami kada bin range or kada score. Kasi yun yung sinet ko na number of points dun sa task performance. Diba 30 points yung task performance 1 yun. Kaya ito yung ating bin. As you can see here, the bin is 0. Yung frequency, kada point, 0. Walang naka-0, walang naka-1, walang naka-2. Pinakamababa na ay 9, tapos isang 10, isang 11. So, inilagay niya dito sa histogram yon. So, merong dalawang naka-9, isang naka-10, isang naka-11. Ang pinakamadami dito ay, kung makita nyo dun sa mode natin is 18, 27. So, ito siya. Ngayon, let's go back to our skew. Yung skew natin, ibig sabihin niya, normal daw yung distribution. So, dito sa ating data, kung mapapansin mo, ay normal yung ating distribution. Walang sobrang data dito, or dito sa kabila. So, siya ay halos pantay lamang. Kaya, yung value ng ating skew is negative 0.04. Malapit siya sa 0. Yung kurtosis naman is gano'n siya ka-peak or ka-flat. If you can check the data, hindi siya ganun ka-flat or heavy-tailed, hindi siya ganun ka-peak, which is light-tailed. So, siya ay tama lang or normal lang yung kanyang tail, which is itong mga data dito sa tail area niya. So, as evident in our value for kurtosis. Alright, so that's it for our demo ng ating skew and kurtosis. So, as for the summary, descriptive statistics include the number, tables, charts, and graphs used to describe, organize, summarize, and present raw data. So, yung most often na ina-examine natin ay central tendency, dispersion, skew, and kurtosis. Ang variables na pag-aralan din natin na meron siyang classification, na pwede siyang nominal, pwedeng ordinal, at pwede ring interval. Napag-aralan din natin yung frequency distribution. Yung frequency distribution, napakita ko siya dito sa sample histogram natin. Okay, so ayan. May sample histogram tayo. So, this is an example of frequency table. Do wala dyan yung mga percentages. And then, the measures of central tendency, we have mean, median, and mode. Napakita din yung sa Excel, formula sa Excel. And then, the measures of dispersion, yung variance, standard deviation, coefficient of variation, yung range, percentiles, and quartiles. By the way, yung percentiles and quartiles, I am going to send you a video in order to explain further about these two terminologies. Pero itong two terminologies na to, ang mini-measure nito ay the position ng data mo kung ilalagay mo siya sa isang line. Okay? We also discussed about the measures of skew, kung gaano ka-concentrated yung data points natin sa high and low end. As you can see in our example, measures of kurtosis, meron tayong tatlo, mesocortic, platycortic, and leptocortic. Again, by the way, hindi ko pala na-discuss yan yung coefficient of variation. Ang coefficient of variation, siya ay kinukuha using the standard deviation divided by mean, multiply it by 100. So, I have here an example, yung example pa din natin na data. So, ang kailangan mo doon is again, the standard deviation, which is ito, divided by the population mean, which is this one, multiply it by 100. So, that's 20.01064396. And I want to round this off into 2 decimal places. So, it's 20.01. Oops. So, ito siya. Yes. Okay, so yan yung kanyang coefficient of variation. Ngayon, it will not make sense, actually, itong iyong, yung measure of dispersion if you have no data to compare with the same nature. So, syempre, itong data na to ay scores ng 2A, may scores ako dyan ng 2B, may scores ako dyan ng 2C. So, what if I want to compare the scores of 2A and scores of 2B with the descriptive statistics na nabanggit ko sa inyo? Doon na mas magiging meaningful ang ating iba't ibang descriptive statistics. So, for example, ito yung data ng 2A, ito naman yung data ng 2B. So, lahat ng score nila. Ang N dito, I guess, ay, ilan ba yung N nito? Okay, so, mag-iba sila ng N or the sample size or the population size. So, I got the mean, median, mode, range, skew, and kurtosis. So, I want you to take a look at the value of coefficient of variation. So, dito, same lang sila ng nature ng data natin. So, yung nature ng data natin ay score ito ng mga estudyante sa task performance na 30 items. So, if I want to compare the standard deviation, kung mapapansin ninyo, itong sa 2A, mas mababa yung value niya kaysa sa 2B ng variance tsaka ng standard deviation, pati na rin yung coefficient of variation. So, yung coefficient of variation niya, this data ng 2A ay 16.55. Ito namang 2B ay 21.57. So, ano mas mataas? Definitely, it is the 2B. Ang sinisignify ng coefficient of variation is that kapag parehong nature yan, which is scores ng dalawang section, kapag mas mataas yung kabila, ibig sabihin, mas madami siyang variation. Mas iba-iba yung data dito, mas madami siyang range ng values, which is, mas madami siyang range ng values as compared to the other set of data. Okay, so that's it for the coefficient of variation. It will just make sense. Usually, yung dispersion natin, yung measures of dispersion natin, if you are going to compare one data to another. So, that's it for our part 2 of your lesson 2 descriptive statistics. Thank you so much, everybody.